All praises to the Most High. This is Elliot, and I'm going to go right into John 4:24. And it says, the Most High God is a spirit, and we must worship him in spirit and in truth. In spirit and in truth. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I believe that during this awakening, there have been implants that are literally trying to rob us of our power, literally take everything away from us that's going to allow us to be bold and mighty in these last days. See, the Most High is a spirit, and there's a lot of things that we must continue to do as we worship and serve him that would be considered supernatural. But yet, in the awakening, many of the teachers and those that confess to be servants and prophets of the Most High are coming with straight book knowledge and scholarship. Very little power is being discussed. And that's why I love how the Most High works all things together to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Because if you are a product of the Christian church, maybe the Pentecostal movement, or any kind of movement that really, honed in on spiritual gifts and learning how to operate spiritually and supernaturally, those things are not all for naught. See, the Most High can use those. Now, the unfortunate part of this was that many of the stuff was used inappropriately and in the wrong way and by the wrong people. Yes, even evildoers and workers of iniquity can also operate in a spiritual gift. All things that happen in the supernatural are spiritual gifts. My name is Elliot, and I have spiritual gifts, and I've committed to using them for the good and the glory of the Most High. However, there's a lot of times where people use these same things for their own selfish gain, to do witchcraft, and the list goes on. So what I really want to say, and I don't want to stay long, but this is what I want to really say, and I think this is really important for the body, that as we continue to grow and we get this knowledge that the Most High would give us through understanding who we are, through understanding and how to follow his law, statutes, and commandments and truly obey him and remove sin from our life, it's not just letters on a page. It's not just book knowledge, but it's by the Spirit that we move. See, one of the first things that many of these teachers, especially the One West camps, want to tell you, which is probably good for a season to back away from some of the stuff, is that speaking in tongues is wrong. It's all in the Bible. Now, whether we do it the right way does not discount the fact that it's biblical. But you will never see these powerful things happening from some of these teachers, from some of these camps, and sometimes they tell you to just back away from it completely. See, that's the thing that we cannot do. To have prophetic dreams, to have prophetic instances, to have downloads supernaturally, to see beyond what's seen, not just by using faith, but just by using spiritual gifts. All these things still exist, and the Most High has equipped his body to use these gifts in the ways that bring glorification to him. So during the awakening and the things that we are learning, I think it's important that we're able to know that the things that we get in this new version of ourselves, I guess, with our eyes wide open, it's important to know that there's still some things that we could pull from. Because I still pull from. I pull from scriptures, I pull from songs. Just, matter of fact, songs. Just the power of worship. the power of singing the Most High's hymns. Now, I know a lot of the words may not be right, but if you can, substitute some names. You know, if you don't want to say Jesus because you've moved beyond that name, and I want to clarify that I don't know the name. I go by Yahshua because I do believe that it's closest to Joshua, which I do believe that that was insinuation of what his name was. Um, I'm I'm not here to do names. In Revelation 12, it talks about that he's going to come back with a name printed on him that no man has ever seen before or ever heard before. So I don't want to get stuck up on that. But when we go into Jesus, which is pronounced in Spanish as Hey Zeus, Hey Zeus, we all know that that's Greek and Greek mythology and all that stuff. So I pull from that. I pull away from that a lot. However, there has been power. This is what I'm talking. This is what I'm telling you today. There has been power that I have gotten from using that name, right? And I don't know if that name necessarily invoked demonic things. I don't believe so in my heart. I've seen many of things. I've seen myself released. I've seen myself healed and delivered by using that name. I've seen demons flee. So all these things that we take into account as we grow doesn't mean that we can't use that same power and translate it into the truth as we start to get it downloaded unto us from the Most High. See, if you are starting to utter something that comes from your mouth, they say that speaking in tongues, if you're going to speak in tongues, it should only be in other languages someone can hear and that someone can interpret. Honestly, I've heard tongues and understood them before. Okay. So I don't know what anybody else's experience with that is. Um, if you hear another language, maybe it's a language that you don't know. Maybe it was bits and pieces of another language that was sprinkled in there. However, the dangerous part of that is that a lot of these warlocks that are over these churches and witches that are online with these uh, YouTube ministries, you know, they'll love to rabata shada kapo ruti shite papo, right? And then you know that some of that stuff is coming from a spirit that is unclean and impure. But I believe that once you're awakened, you should have enough spiritual discernment and understanding to know that the utterance from a wicked person is someone that you don't want to listen to. But if you get caught by the spirit and he starts to move in you and he makes you utter something, do not suppress it. And I'm not saying go out here and completely go all out and just start acting all wild and everything with the wildfire. But we cannot let our power go. That is the biggest strategy I think that the enemy is using with this awakening, is that all this book knowledge coming left and right, all these arguments about doctrine and what you should eat, what laws you should keep, you know, how many wives can you have, how many things can you do, what day is the Sabbath, what all these different things, right? At the end of the day, that's going to be how the Most High deals with you. And as the truth starts to get unveiled, you'll get it. Because we're not going to get this. We're not going to get every date right. Everybody's not going to seem like be in agreement yet. The dates of the holy and feast days. However, one thing that remains the same is that the Most High is a spirit. And we worship him in spirit and in truth, right? So the truth would really be our stability. That's our foundation, our ground. That's where we're going to know how to keep everything solid, the truth. And the spirit, now that's the stuff that catches you off guard. That's the stuff that you might do when you wake up and the Most High says, go here now. Call this person now. Read now. Worship me now. Praise my holy name. And if he moves you to utterance and it doesn't sound like the language that you normally speak, let it go. Yes, I said it. It took some time for me to be comfortable enough to say this and profess how important it is to make sure that we continue to use our spiritual gifts. And I think this will come with some maturity, y'all, because it's not for everybody just to come out here and start running wild like we were doing when things were out of balance and out of place. But the power cannot be robbed and stripped from us. I declare that today. And to all those with the sound of my voice, and this is resonating in your spirit, praise the Most High for confirmation, because the time is now to be powerful, bold, and mighty for the Most High, and truly worship Him, not just by the truth and the foundation that we have in His Word, but by the spiritual gift that each and every one of us have deposited in us. We're spiritual beings, and we all, some of us, I'll say most all of us, have some sort of superpower. But I pray that if you are really walking with Him, closely with Him, that you will dedicate all the things that you have to Him under the subjection of the Ruach, which is the Holy Spirit of the Most High God. It's the only way it could work. Because so many people use these uncanny abilities that they have been deposited with for their own selfish gain, to manipulate others, to strive for mammon and not the Spirit of the Most High. And that's not what we're here to do. So to the mature ones under the sound of my voice, who know that they feel that their spiritual powers have been suppressed because they've been taught that they've been acting out of line, I say no, that's not the truth. Reclaim your power today and give all praises to the Most High in all things, and watch Him work boldly in your life. As a matter of fact, I pray that this video just goes and spreads like wildfire. If you have a chance to spread it, to share it with someone, do that and give them the confirmation to know that we are spiritual people that need to use our spiritual powers in these last moments and these last days. All praises. And until the next time we speak, this is Elliot. Shalom.